thing, Vishnu is the one with the incarnations. Vishnu has the avatars. But Shiva has this one avatar who was very well known for a short period of time. His name was Lakulisha. And why Lakulisha? He's always shown holding onto a lakuda, that is a club, a weapon in his hand. And it's like he's sitting there with the weapon. When you see a weapon in a god's hand, it's like telling all the other sects, telling all the other cults, keep away, we are the most powerful ones. So he's holding on to this tight over here. He has a fruit in one hand, and he is epiphalic. And he is supposed to be, you'll see him in parts of Gujarat, you'll see him in Madhya Pradesh, parts of Orissa. Didn't go all over, probably has some tribal background at the same time. And I would think his period of popularity would be from 2nd century to around 7th century and not beyond that. So gods come and go. You know, this is what I was saying yesterday. We have to apply the Darwinian principle. All of them cannot survive. It's the survival of the fittest. So even this manifestation of Shiva did not survive for long. Okay, here he is as Bhairava. And you can see the entrails of the body, and you can see it's a very nice, completely covered with skulls everywhere. The khatvang with the skull on the top over here. The fangs. One way of showing fierceness among the Hindu gods is to have the fangs sticking out over here. Okay, the bloodthirsty gods. And she's getting her eyebrows up and down because she loves Bhairava. So this is Bhairava. Next one, from Madhya Pradesh. That, of course, is the Nataraj form. This is from Karnataka, Badami. And there's Ganesha there accompanying him, and there's his bull Nandi, always shown together. It's
look,
a very
the
nice
serpent.
And there's a serpent on top. Yes, you were talking about the serpent. Yes, he's holding the serpent in one hand. Yes, next. So this is 6th century. Okay, now I was telling you about how Shiva had to get married even though he was an ascetic. So the gods get together, and why do they want him to get married? Apparently there is this demon, very powerful demon called Taraka. And Taraka is disturbing the celestial world, and all the gods cannot defeat him no matter what. So they make this plan. They say, look, if Shiva is the most strongest god, let's get him a really strong wife, a very strong woman. And when they both get married, their offspring is going to be so strong with both of their semen and hers getting together. And then they're going to have a child who's going to defeat Taraka. That was the whole plan. So they get Shiva to marry, though he keeps saying, I don't want a wife, I'm very happy on my own, I've never been born, I'm never going to die. What am I going to do with offspring? I don't want a son. If I die, why do men want sons? Men want sons so that their last rites will be done by the son. I'm never going to die. I don't have any need for a son. But anyway, he is forced to get married. And that's why he's called Ashutosh. He gets Santosh, he gets content. Okay, you want me to get married, let me get married. That's why he's called Bholinath. You have a question?
I do.
Yes.
What is the concept of a strong woman?
The strong woman, I'm talking about spouses, because there are many goddesses who are not so strong, the way Parvati is. His spouse is equal, absolutely egalitarian in her power. She's like Shiva. And her manifestation as Durga, as Kali, oh my God, she can give Shiva a big fright, and he has to scamper away from her many a time. So she dominates very often. That's what's beautiful about their relationship. That's what I meant. I was saying woman because I'm calling him a man also, but it's basically a goddess. That's what I meant. So this is called Kalyana Sundar Murti. There's a whole murti. There's a whole concept behind the sculpture. Just 1 minute. There's a sculpture. There's a concept behind that. You will see these images of him getting married to her, and she's so coyly standing there. The hand is there. The other gods are accompanying. You don't see them here very clearly. The other ones you'll see. There's Indra. There's Agni. There's Vishnu. They've all come for the marriage. Yes, please.
Did she want to marry him?
Very good question. She did want to marry, but she was kind of wary of him. She was not happy with him all the time. Sati was just blindly in love and blindly loving him and gave her life for him. Because her father insulted him, and she said, enough is enough, I cannot take insults. It's not just the person you're insulting, but even the person who's hearing the insults, she's not worth living anymore. And she self-conflagrates. And she does tapas and she burns herself alive. So yes, that's how Sati died. But when Parvati comes along, she's more wary, and I'm just telling you how she is. So no, not so keen, but yes, she does get down to it.
At what point the linga actually became symbolized by light, the shaft of light?
Yes, yes. In the very early Purans, we hear that Brahma and Vishnu were both fighting among each other and saying that I'm the greatest, and Brahma saying I'm the greatest, both Vishnu and Brahma. And as they were fighting and arguing with each other, and it's written about in great detail. Vishnu on slumber, sleeping away, Vishnu Nidra, like they call it. He's having his sleep and on the coils of the snake, and then he doesn't rise, he doesn't get up when Brahma comes, and Brahma starts accusing him, why aren't you getting up? Don't you know I'm the creator God? He said, you're not the creator God, I'm the creator God, and they start fighting with each other. And in fact, I want to mention it here, I mentioned it yesterday as well. I wrote about that in my book, and there's an entire legal team of Penguin, my publisher, who said you can't say this, because I quoted from the Purans, and the Purans have said that Brahma and Vishnu fought like foolish goats. So I wrote that in this book, that they were fighting like foolish goats, and the legal team said, you will get into trouble, how can you say that? I said, because it's written in the Purans. So they said footnoted, so I footnoted, because otherwise they didn't want anything footnoted in this book. They wanted it to be an easy book, so I footnoted it and I kept it there. I said, I'm not removing it, because it's there in the Purans, and I want to show that this is what is said, this is how sectarian people work. If you're a Vaishnavite and you're writing a Vishnu Puran, then you're going to criticize all of Shiva. If you're a Shiva Puran, all of Vishnu. That's the way it was. Yeah. So that's around the time. What was your question now? What was?
Shaft of light.
Yes, so then what happens is when the two of them are fighting, suddenly all the gods go, because the fight is very fierce. All the other gods get very scared. They go to Shiva, who's meditating, come and help us. So he comes, he sees the two of them fighting, and he becomes this shaft of light. And it is so humongous that Brahma says, I'm going to go to the top to see where it starts. And Vishnu says, I'm going to go to the bottom. And Vishnu comes back and tells the truth, says, I couldn't reach the bottom. Brahma tells a lie. He said, I actually reached the top. And Shiva gives him a punishment and says, you're never going to be worshipped anymore. No, not a single temple. You see, the myth gets created. Brahma must have lost his popularity as it is. So how do you explain it? The mythographers make a myth to explain it. There's one Brahma temple in Rajasthan, in Pushkar. Yeah. And why? So this is the reason, because he told a lie. And of course he was incestuous with his own daughter, and so things like that always come up. Yes.
So I lived in this village called Shivgarh, which I think was the village of Shiv in Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
And so this is when I was much younger, and I went to a couple of temples, and they would have this in the very center of the phallus.
Yeah.
And I would just observe people circumambulating the phallus and then pouring water or milk on it. And I was wondering if you could explain.
Yes.
So then I just copied people because they said it was fertility, and I was like, great. That's
Did you know it was phallic?
It did. I mean, it didn't.
How
really
did you
look
know
like,
it was phallic? It doesn't look phallic.
It doesn't really look like it, but I think people told me it was the male organ.
Who told you that? That's very nice.
Like my friends who were from the
knowledgeable.
village.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is the ritual?
Yes. So let me just tell you this: that there's a myth, a very powerful myth about the emergence, the coming of Ganga into the earthly plains. She's a celestial river. That's why she's worshipped and she's sacred. Ganga is a sacred river, but she doesn't want to come down to the earth. And so she's so petulant and impetuous that she actually says that if you force me to come down to the earth, my waters are so strong that I will flood the entire earth, and there'll be mayhem and chaos and pralay. Okay? So she says that, and so then everybody is worried now. What do we do? Because Ganga has to come down. There are ascetics doing tapas. Ganga has to come down for them. But then she'll ruin the world, so then they get to Shiva. Now, that's what I've said often in my books. Shiva is not the destroyer. Shiva is the preserver. If you look at his myths, he's the preserver. Okay? So they go to Shiva and say, what do we do? She's going to come down and ruin this entire world. All the trees and everything will get uprooted. Everything's going to be flooded by Ganga. So he says, okay. And he takes her, he tells them to place her on her head. So Ganga is placed on his head, and he has this wonderful matted dreadlocks. And she's seated there, and as she's trying, like I tried to say, she loses herself in Shiva, and the metaphor is there, because she has to go through, meandering through his locks, and she slowly through the locks comes gently onto the earth. So she can't flood, because she's sitting on top of Shiva. And why do they pour water? Because Ganga is on Shiva's head. So it's like repeating that whole myth of pouring water on him. And then of course the milk thing is, milk is in a pastoral country like India. It used to be highly pastoral. You can see that. That's why we worship Krishna, the cowherd. Okay, in a pastoral country, ghee, which is used, my God, ghee, the kind of importance it has. Desi ghee, shuddh ghee. Ghee, milk, all these products from the cow are considered very
Does
safe.
it have anything to do with fertility?
Yes.
Okay.
When we say the male sex, when we talk about the male sex organ being worshipped, it's not only in India; it's all over the world. In Germany also we have, and like in many places we, Stella and I were talking about. In the ancient world, the phallus was worshipped. What is interesting is that it's still being done in this country. Other countries have given it up. I don't think there's phallic worship anywhere else. In our country, it is, but we have to know, albeit with this remarkable change in its image, never ever looking realistic. I'm really sorry I didn't bring the first evidence of the lingam, which is completely anatomically accurate, the male sex organ. Like you cannot even imagine. And it's like 6 feet high, and it's in Andhra Pradesh in a place called Gurimalam. And it is that, and then if anybody tries to deny and say, no, this is a pillar, no, it's not a pillar. And that is belonging to 2nd century BC. That's how long back we go.
But for those of you who would like to, there's
Yes.
food in the kitchen and much more wine, dessert, and so on.
Yeah, but
You can say-
I would like to actually
Absolutely.
I would like to thank you all. You've been such a
Thank you.
wonderful-
Yeah.
Thank you. Very wonderful audience. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed it. And now we can all eat and feast and have a nice time.